indeed. And then, like I said, we also have our Christmas parades and all that. Every area in central Kentucky has its own
parade.
Has a parade. Did anybody get out for any parades this year?
Well, we were going to go down to the Springfield one where they had the Walk with Santa, and we had donated books for children's book giveaway, and it turned into all that ice. Remember?
Yes.
It was 20-some degrees with ice coming down and everything, so we didn't make it out to that.
Yeah, there were several around, but
there was one in Bardstown also.
Yes, one in Bardstown, and I'm sure there was one in New Haven. There's always one in New Haven, and the one in Lebanon, or Loretto too.
Yeah, New Haven does the train for the children, with the Santas.
So there's lots of celebrating going around. Yeah, and then I think that was it that weekend that they had the open houses for the different businesses had open houses.
That's when you went shopping.
So that was a good thing.
Well, I did that on that Saturday after Thanksgiving, but that parade day in Springfield was that day that it turned so terrible.
Yeah.
Ice and I can't remember what day that was. It was a Saturday.
It dropped.
Yes,
the temperature really quickly.
And, I'm just wondering how that, what effect that had on our retailers, with that having that bad weather. On a weekend, which is, when
a lot of tourists in town.
Yes, indeed.
And the shops are decorated so beautifully.
Yes.
I adore driving through them every day.
Christmas, all the trees and lights. And like I said, this year I got my tree up before Thanksgiving because normally
Congratulations.
it's up to the last minute, and then I'll say, well, why put it up for a couple of days? We'll just forget it.
Come down again.
This year, got it up.
We used to do that. Jim would take our children to the woods on Christmas Eve. They would cut a tree and bring it back, and I would make dinner while they were doing that. We would eat, then they would decorate the tree, and then they'd go to bed while Santa came. But now we left it up for like 2 weeks after that. We didn't just take it right down immediately after Christmas. So we celebrated Christmas more from when the children were small, from Christmas Eve for 2 weeks after that. We've sort of gotten out of that now just because we're the only people in the neighborhood who wait. So we've got, and because the children are grown and gone, we don't
Makes a difference,
do that so much. It does. It
Certainly does. And the age difference, too. Like when they're little, they're just so excited. So it's hard not to be excited with them. And as they get older and more jaded about it, it's like, oh, okay,
And it's always the story about somebody at school told me that there was no Santa. Mama, is that the truth?
There you go.
Those days. Who told you that?
Yes, indeed. And with the holidays comes holiday cooking. Oh, anybody doing any cooking? Any special recipes that you like? I know some people fix the same thing for Christmas that they do for Thanksgiving. And that's my mom does that. She pretty much has the same meal, the turkey again and all that, and that's good, because you can make sandwiches later after you finish playing with all your stuff. But
I don't know. I think I've done the traditional so many times. But I also remember one year, because the kids and the grandkids were all little and they didn't care what was being served. So we had spaghetti and that was the best, and it was the easiest thing because I had such little time. And of course, the adults are like, I don't believe, Mum, you made spaghetti. But it was the best. And it was so simple. And
so
it's the stress.
Yes,
the stress about getting it all perfect and trying to get it all done in time and everything. And if it's only spaghetti, no problem.
That's right.
Our children travel to see various in-laws and also end up at our house. So I had decided they had so much ham or turkey. I think it was last Christmas, yes, I made a giant chicken pot pie.
Oh,
they loved it.
lovely.
They loved
Yeah.
it. And we still did some of our traditional, the rolls and the cranberry salad we make, and those. We did some traditional things, but I made this just giant chicken pot pie with chickens all over it, and they even took pictures of it. They were like, and it's also something the little children will eat because they'll eat chicken.
Yes.
They tend to be a bit
That's
picky.
clever.
They tend to be picky though.
And see, that was something that I never had to worry about. My daughter was never a picky eater.
Lucky.
Never. Not ever.
Our children weren't, but our grandchildren are very picky. Well, all but one. 3 of the 4 are very picky. And one is learning at school that she should be picky.
That she should be picky.
for
Health reasons.
Well, other children just
Yes.
say, you eat that,
Yeah.
it's broccoli. You can't eat that, but
There's
she
that
loved
influence again.
Right.
Peer pressure
Right.
on your veggies
All the time.
Oh, it's just terrible.
Right.
But this year I'm going to do non-traditional. Not that I'm a traditional person anyway, but I'll be doing a non-traditional meal. I think, when I go to ham days and all the little fairs around, the Cattlemen's Association always has the ribeyes, and I always get a ribeye sandwich. And I go, oh, that is just wonderful. And several times I've talked to them trying to get that special recipe because I know they put a little seasoning on theirs over in Marion County, and it's a little different and very tasty.
I've had that. It is
Yeah,
delicious.
very delicious. So what I'm going to try to do at Christmas time this year, if all works out well, I'm going to get some ribeyes, and I'm going to try to emulate that formula that they have, and make myself a good old ribeye steak.
Lovely.
Yes,
It's my
that's
favorite
gonna be
meat,
it.
really. Oh, that and
But
prime
are you
rib.
going to do it like a sandwich, or are you going to make the bread?
No, I'm not going to do a sandwich. Don't need those carbohydrates. I just want
Veggies? Yes, you've got to have the veggies.
I'll have raw veggies. I'll have raw veggies.
Well, we do try to do something different Christmas because, as I said, they all traveled, and it seems like, of course, at Thanksgiving, everybody has turkey. Then at Christmas, it seems like everybody has ham or something different from turkey. So we did a prime rib. I'd never done that before, but we baked a prime rib one time. When we were all together, when my mother was living, there were 11 of us when we get together, and now there are 10. And so, I had to bake a really sizable one.
Sure.
But it was fun. I'd never done that before, and it was fun.
And you put it in the
Turned out
oven.
good.
Now, see,
Roasted
I
it.
would like to make one on the grill.
A prime rib.
Prime rib on the grill and let it just cook
Slowly, yeah.
We used to do turkey on the grill for Christmas Eve. We put a turkey out on the grill and put it on low and let it cook all night.
Ooh.
And first thing in the morning, the turkey was ready and just fall off the bone. Right. He's so tender.
Lovely.
And that smoky flavor.
Well, Jim smokes them. He does that. Puts
does
them in
he?
a smoker and smokes them. And, they are
I'm
good.
glad you told me that.
Tender,
I'll have
yes.
to talk to Jim. Yes, indeed.
He's our griller, smoker. I do most of the inside cooking, but he's really good at it. And he's also good at on the grill with vegetables and that sort of thing on the grill. So we do a lot of grilling in the summertime.
Now, are you going to be
Healthier.
doing any pies or cakes for the holidays?
Leave that to my daughter. She's the baker.
Is she?
Oh, she's just to die for. That's her ultimate goal, is to have her own little bake shop. But she's just
so nice.
self-taught and can do it all. I don't care what it is. That girl, and I don't know where she got it from. It wasn't from me, because when she was little and it was time to bring cookies to school, you know how they always ask for whatever. She came home one day and she threw my cookies on the table, and she was about 8, and she says, "Mum, don't you ever make cookies for me again. If you can't go to Kroger and buy them, don't you ever." I was so embarrassed. Oh, no. And I've never made another one.
Never made another one.
I was raised baking because I was raised on a farm
In the
with
country?
a huge family. So my mother taught me to bake as a child. That was that was a main focus of my chores, was baking. So I love to bake. So those carbohydrates there at our house all
At
the
the
time.
window. At the
I
window.
know. I keep mine in the freezer so that
You don't
if
see it.
So out of sight, out of mind. And if if I have to go through thawing it out, then I'll question whether I really want it. Right. If it's in the freezer. But so far
That's like an extra step,
that's
isn't it?
it's an extra step to go in and get.
Well, when I learned to work with clay, my husband was so glad, because sometimes he'll say, "Evelyn, please go work in the pottery, or I'm going to weigh 400 pounds if you don't. Please go work in the pottery." Because I love to cook. I mean, I could cook
good.
all
Yes,
the time.
yes.
I could. But it's not good if you're the only two there and you're eating it.
You're eating
Oh,
or the only
goodness.
one there and you're
That's
eating.
tough.
I know
It
it.
is tough.
Cooking for one is tough.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, like you, though, I do try to find good, wholesome recipes for us, because, at our age, we can't afford those extra pounds and things. It's hard on you.
Once you get them on you, it's
Tell me about it.
off.
Really
It's like,
hard to get
oh
off.
my. Yes, indeed. It can be horrible.